Welcome back to the Global Amateur Podcast with me, Norman Seam, and
Rees, hi.
so today, similar to the previous episode that was actually discussed in the first episode, vaccine equality. This time we'll be talking about the free vaccination rollout. In particularly three countries that we're going to discuss, and debunk any myth or any reasons behind. The first country will be India, second country China, and third Israel. Before we move, any further anything, let's get a bit how say more aware about the so-called the COVID-19 vaccination rollout based on country itself. So I'm currently looking at the world in data so-called statistics, and I can see Israel is still topping the COVID-19 vaccination rollout by per population itself. Like as you can see, they have already vaccinated approximately around 62.17% of its population, followed by United Kingdom and United States. So Reese, how about Malaysia right now? What's the number? What's the population that's been vaccinated right now?
Yeah, for in Malaysia, that people that is fully vaccinated is 5,086,000 and 5,086 K, which is quite a number. And the total doses that was given was 1.5 million already. So it quite already a lot, but we need to achieve more than that to make sure that this COVID-19 can be done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally true. Based on the statistics as well, you can see Malaysia has only vaccinated its population by 2.47%, and we have 32.37 million people in Malaysia, and that's kind of a small margin compared to the rest of the countries abroad. But it's all right. We are still going on with all these vaccination program. But before we move into more of our discussion, about the vaccination rollout in these three countries, let's have a bit of also an introduction, about the COVID-19 cases. So for me personally, COVID-19 pandemic was introduced to me during the lockdown. I wasn't really aware of it, and I was personally actually still in Matrix. Reese, I think you were at the same in Matrix as well, right? You were forced to go back.
Yeah, I was forced to go back.
I see. So yeah, we all been there, and it's already been I think 1.5 years that COVID-19 pandemic has been ongoing. But we have seen significant breakthroughs in scientific breakthroughs, in particular the vaccination. So let's kind of look into it actually for a day. So for right now, the COVID-19 pandemic has been going on for 1.5 years, and there's already been a dozen vaccines that has been approved for general or emergency use, especially countries including China, Russia, and United Kingdom, and also the United States. But only mostly developed countries have been in this inoculation programs, whereas the least developed or developing countries are still lacking in that, in particular. So for right now, there has been lack of coordination, but right now due to the World Health Organization, they introduced COVAX. COVAX is actually a global initiative to actually distribute 2 billion vaccine doses by end of the following year. By actually, if you look into last February 2021, COVAX actually had begun its series in sending its first dose to actually West Africa, so which is a kind of big breakthrough. But what are the vaccines that are actually available currently in the world right now? So I think last year all of us were really intense about which vaccine is going to be the best, which vaccine has the most efficacy rate, So as you can see, there are approximately a dozen vaccines that actually been produced currently right now by different companies. We can see China, United States has the most, and also Russia itself. So in Malaysia, we have Sinovac, we have Pfizer, BioNTech, and also we have AstraZeneca vaccination that has been introduced by our Ministry of Science and Technology Minister, Kari Jamaluddin. And also we can see that that there has been increasing of cases. I mean, there has been increasing of population that has been vaccinated in Malaysia itself. But I know it's still slow, but it's still going. So like for this, we can see like there has been a major poll saying that they will actually prefer to take Pfizer that has been actually produced by United States and also Germany, whereas like currently right now like AstraZeneca and so like Sinovac has like been downgraded for its name, saying that like we are not going to take it because we are scared of it, but those claims are all not true. And for me, all vaccines are efficient enough to actually prevent us from getting COVID-19 disease. So like how, I mean, like normally people will like even be thinking like how's the vaccine been developed, so like especially like if you look into the so-called vaccine production progress, in so-called during this COVID-19 pandemic, has been a lot of breakthrough. We have seen like research, normally taking for vaccination normally takes around 2 to 4 years, but during this COVID-19 pandemic, it only took like 6 months, and also like pre-clinical preparation normally has to take around 2 years, but it took 6 months only for COVID-19 pandemic, and for clinical trials for it normally take up to like 5 years, or more than that. But this time it only has taken up only 1.5 years, and it's like actually a major breakthrough, when we're talking about this. But like the problem is right now is that most countries are inaccessible of it, and least developed countries are normally the ones affected by it. So we can see all that type of trend coming up, and because of this, there has been new developments of new variants of COVID-19, such as like we see like is it in Malaysia, right? Reese, that we have seen like South African variant and also the Indian variant, right? The new one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the new one, the new
the new
variant.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like something that I mean like it's best for everyone to actually get vaccinated. I mean quickly, before this variant starts to actually be spreading towards all of us, and then those vaccines that has been produced is inefficient already. So yeah, so because of that, like we can see like most countries try to step up the game with lockdowns and all this stuff that are going on. Even like in our country, we have started with the movement control order, and it's kind of sad because Eid Mubarak is coming and all these are going on at the same time. So yeah, but we can see like three countries in particular. I mean, like into the topic right now, and three countries in particular has actually highlighted our sense of COVID-19 vaccine, and particularly China, India, and also Israel. Like China is a really big country, and they were the first country to actually detect the coronavirus in China, in Wuhan. That was in 2019. And yeah, so but like currently in China itself, they've already administered around 53 million doses to its citizens as for February 28th, according to their so-called prominent epidemic experts, which is Zhong Nanshen. While that is still a low number because China is a huge country, they have approximately 1.3 billion citizens in comparison to like United States, but they actually have a lower vaccination rate compared to the United States, which is like 90 million doses already, and it's covering up almost 18% of its people. So yeah, but yeah, so it's like how say like the Chinese effort has been slowing down, but at the same time they have been focusing into producing their own vaccine. We have seen like Sinopharm, Sinovac, and this what has led to their so-called free donation vaccination, or we call it, or in some places they actually call it as vaccine diplomacy. So from like this vaccine diplomacy, we have seen like China has actually roll out more vaccines, exported more vaccines out, rather than inside of it, because they have actually we can say like they have actually achieved sufficiency internally. So they have actually exported their vaccines, they have donated their vaccines to quite a few number of countries, especially like if we were to look at the BBC statistics of countries that China has donated, which is a lot, like literally a lot. Like we see like Afghanistan, there has been like 400,000 vaccines donated. We can even see like in so-called in Iran, they have donated around 260,000 vaccines. Countries such as Mongolia as well, they received 300,000 vaccines for it. Pakistan, and also like we have seen also in countries such as Seychelles, Sierra Leone, and also and also Palestine, for instance, that even though this so-called this conflicts ongoing between the Israelis, but the Palestinians do also receive vaccines from China itself, Sinopharm to be exact, approximately around 100,000 doses for it. So it's like, I mean, this has been, questionable, because a lot of people have been saying like, oh, China is the problem of it. Like you see Trump, he said like the China virus, right? So it's like, it's how they have been trying to at least, I would say, relinquish all this public, this public distrust about China through his vaccine diplomacy. But still, I won't say that is the case, but yeah, a lot of people have been thinking about that. So, but it's not only China that's been doing this, like, I mean, China is, if they will do this, they will have reasons, maybe not, maybe yes, we don't know. But if you were to look, actually, like India also is doing the same thing, currently right now. India actually has also introduced their own vaccination rollout. In particular, they have approximately 150 million shots has been given, which is like equivalent to around 11.5% of India's. But currently they have actually hold all exports of AstraZeneca to meet domestic demand. Yeah, so like basically like 30 million people from 18 to 45 have actually registered for jabs, such as states, but excluding states such as like Central Madhya Pradesh, and also like hard hit states such as Maharashtra. So like they won't do, I mean, any vaccination programs yet in those are two states. But like when we see like the vaccine rollout for, I mean, free vaccine donated vaccines to their counterparts or to their to countries abroad, we can see like there's been a significant amount of it. Like okay, if we look at like some articles talking about it, we can see like in so-called in March of 2021, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually received the first dose of India's indigenously made COVID-19 vaccine. So it's like this vaccine also has been launched. I mean, this vaccine has been aligned with their vaccine friendship, or they call it vaccine Maitri. So they have actually donated few vaccines to a few other countries as well. It's also kind of like a major diplomatic effort to give and supply made in India vaccines to low-income developing countries. So yeah, so like even though like India also has been experiencing, India also has its own vaccine, but they do have also Russian vaccines, which are Sputnik 5, and also they have AstraZeneca vaccines. Yeah, into that. So it's like we can start seeing similar competitive mode, with China, where they try to compete, with this vaccine diplomacy. But yeah, but we discuss later, with Rees, right, Rees?
Yeah.
Yeah, Reese will be discussing more on that. But like for me, I'm just gonna give you like a bit of an outline about each of these countries, like what's going on right now and why. I mean, and why we can see this happening. So I mean, besides India, I know another I alphabet country will be Israel. So like Israel is really, I mean, Israel has been really efficient with their vaccination rollout. Particularly their so-called their vaccine program. Like previously, if I were to tell you about if previously, like I told you about the vaccination data that has been provided by World in Data, approximately 62.48% of the people actually has taken at least one dose of vaccine. So it's a big leap, I would say. For instance, like big countries or small countries have not been doing that, but Israel has already achieved that. So it's like, how does Israeli's vaccination actually rollout works? So actually, Israel has actually launched its COVID-19 vaccination campaign on December 20th, 2020. But actually, like previously, they have prepared, months earlier. over the course of 2020, Israel signed, vaccine purchase contracts with several pharmaceutical companies. They forefront of COVID-19 vaccine development. Even like before the United States FDA actually issued a issued a so-called certification for Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. Israel already had placed contracts on Pfizer to purchase Pfizer's vaccine. So like even like the Ministry of Health of Israel also determined that the initial target groups for vaccination would be the age of 60 and over, and they will look into nursing home residents, other people at high risk due to serious medical conditions, and also frontline workers. So like you can see like Israel has already been looking into that, for quite a long time as well. And yeah, so if you were to look, Israel has really been doing well in so-called in succeeding in their vaccine rollouts, whereas like most of its counterparts, especially in other its neighbors in particularly as well, has been lacking in that. So like even if we were to look at the so-called the free vaccine, Israel has been engaging well with that, in particularly with its neighboring countries to actually boost its image. As we all know, there is still an ongoing Israeli and Palestinian conflict that is currently ongoing. Last night, we witnessed a 16-year-old boy who got killed by the Israeli forces, and this has been, contributing to a lot of tensions between the both sides. So, to actually, Israel is trying its best to actually ease all this, and they are trying to boost the image by actually providing aids, medical aids, and also free vaccine rolls to its neighbors to actually gain its confidence from all the other nations. So yeah, so it's like we can see like these three nations has like their common their common ground that they have been standing for. And we can see like China is trying to rebuild its image. We can see India is also trying to at least gain its regional competitiveness with China. Israel is obviously doing all this for so-called to actually gain more. I wouldn't say gain more respect in the region, but they are trying to at least get more trust, between the Middle Eastern countries. So like for all of this, like now let's like focus into like the reasons of it, So it's like before we take a break, let me just ask a question of Reese, like if Reese, are you there? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So it's like especially when we look into this so-called this in this the problem we're having in India right now, you can see like there are a lot of people without oxygen gas, oxygen itself, and the hospital uh, has been overwhelmingly accepting patients, particularly, and like they do donate vaccines, and they also produce the vaccine. So like how like why are they still continuing their donation? Are they still continuing their donation program, or they are contracting it due to the internal issues? So yeah, so I think Reese can answer that later, but for right now we'll take a break and we will see you soon. Yeah, welcome back. Previously before our break, I've asked Reese about a question regarding about the conditions in India, especially where they have been overwhelmingly receiving a lot of patients, and the hospitals could not accommodate all this. And also, we can see people dying on the streets, without oxygen and all this. So it's like I've seen a lot of articles publishing saying that India is actually donating vaccines, outside. We have seen this thing called vaccine diplomacy, vaccine friendship, particularly. So it's like now back to Reese again, like since like this thing has been going on, like is India still actually donating vaccines, or have they been contracting? Especially with all this domestic issue. So what do you think about that, Reese?
All right, thank you, Norman. So basically, we can see that the vaccine rollout in India is really lagging compared to other countries due to many factors such as their number of population in the country. So about 150 million shot that have been given, and equivalent to 11.5 of Indians, 1.3 billion people. That is quite really low compared to other countries. So despite being the world's biggest producers of vaccine, the country is still suffering an internet shortage and has been placed temporarily hold on all export of AstraZeneca to meet domestic demand, which is the citizen. Not all the citizens have received their vaccine because of the shortage.
I
So
see.
this will be the virus will be continued to spread because a lot of them still didn't get the vaccine. So yeah.
I see. I see. Yeah, that's really interesting, Reese. Like, so yeah, so Reese, like, actually, like like besides this, actually, like, what's the reason of this? Like, what's like since we've been talking a lot about countries doing all this vaccine diplomacy. Like, if you have any thoughts about like what's the reason of it, why they're doing this? Can I explain that?
Yep. Also, it is really important to make sure that everyone get their vaccine. So that will make sure that the situation in India didn't happen in other countries. Maybe we'll wonder why does it that necessary. The pandemic has impacted almost every corner of our life, causing global economics to stall, changing the way we work and interact with our loved ones, and stretching healthcare system to the limit, which is that we can see it in India. The world is really exhausted with monthly of compulsory mask wearing, social distancing, curfew, and lockdowns. So a vaccine is now most important way to curb the disease. COVID-19 vaccination is now offering a way to transition out from this phase of pandemic. Without them, many scientists believe that natural herd immunity would not have been sufficient to restore society to its normal status quo. And that is what resulted extreme fatality. This is something that have been echoed by many health organizations, including WHO. In a scenario without access to vaccine, strict behavioral measures may have had to remain for the future. So, like, fortunately, the beginning of 2021, we saw that numerous vaccine given by the emergency approval and began their rollout in countries across the world. So, as of March 2021, just shy of 300 million vaccine doses have been administered worldwide, and the figures give hope of a return to a normal. Yeah, and also, an effective vaccine will protect some who will receive it by lowering the chance of COVID 19 if the person encounters the coronavirus. More important is whether the vaccine prevents serious illness, hospitalization, and death. At this time, all three vaccines are highly efficient at preventing serious illness and death from COVID 19, which is that we also have AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Sinovac. After enough people in the population are vaccinated, the virus will effectively stop spreading, and that what is called herd immunity, and that is what the WHO have been mentioned about it. Yeah. In
Damn.
addition, yeah, this virus is really dangerous and can spread easily. So why did I say that? Because we know that the virus is started spreading from Wuhan, China in 2019. But now we can see that the virus have been spreaded all around the world. Even it's just start from the China. Can you imagine it?
Yeah. It's like impossible now. It's like
Yeah.
everywhere.
And also the number of death has reached 3,256,499 It is really insane and a really big number. Yeah, it shows that the COVID-19 is really dangerous. Also, yeah, that's what I think. So on the other hand, we see that vaccine will give us a lot of advantage, but what like the disadvantage to the government. The supply of vaccine mostly is donated or purchasing by the superpower like China, like that you have mentioned before, Norman. And
Yeah.
yeah, so don't you think that it's going to cause dependency toward this big superpower nation, such as China, to get the vaccine? What do you think about it?
Hmm. Can I answer it, Reese?
Yeah, sure, sure.
All right. So it's like, yeah, like I definitely think that like so-called, the superpowers are trying to gain dependency, and particularly China and India is actually trying their very best, to make sure that countries be dependent to them strongly. But with the recent domestic issue that India is going, I don't think they're going that way. But like I can see China is doing that, so that and particularly they have been trying so hard to actually gain that legitimacy as superpower. So we have seen that China has traveled so far to Italy for its mass diplomacy during the Italian lockdown, and I think China is trying its very best so that everyone could like think that, oh, China is a really, I mean, a good country, and also it can help us out in situations such as this. So yeah, dependency is obviously a thing, and also another thing is that I think as what I've said before earlier, like I think China is trying to kind of like change its image, uh disclaimer alert. I mean, like people might be thinking like, no, no, China's doing that, but based on my opinion, I think they're trying to do that, just to push back all those public distrust about them, and particularly like President Donald Trump. Remember, Reese, you have said that the China virus, right? So
Yeah,
it's like it's all of that, and I think yeah, they are trying to actually replace. I mean, reconstruct public image definitely, and also they're trying to increase dependency on like certain countries. I think um, you can even look this up with the China and Pakistan relationship. Pakistan is heavily dependent on China, but not just only on vaccines rollout, but also on the OBOR, One Belt One Road initiative, where China is literally putting Pakistan into the dependent role. So yeah, so that's my thought, Reese. Now back to you.
thank you, Norman, for your thought. For from this, we can see that China is trying to be a good boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to be really good.
Yep. So, like, yeah, even though it is a free vaccine for everyone, even in China, India, and Israel, but from the analysis that you gave us, Norman, the number of people that have been vaccinated is still low in China and India, of course, because Israel is in the top rank of vaccinated people.
Yeah, true, very
Yep.
true.
So, what China government had done to encourage people are really unique, I would say. Uh, yeah. Have you heard about the ways that China use, Norman?
Ye- I mean, it's really ridiculous. But I mean, like you should say it out because like, things like this we won't really do it. But China's been doing it, particularly. So like, um, you should tell Reese what they've been doing.
All right. China used free eggs and ice cream and blacklist to boost lagging vaccine rollout. It is really insane. I would say you
Yeah,
cannot like even imagine it. Like China is doing that just to make sure that their people is getting vaccinated.
yeah, it's like totally. I mean, different. Like in Malaysia, we have been showing up in the news, telling them, oh, okay, take the vaccine. The vaccine's good. But
Yeah,
China is like doing all this, like, you know.
I think most of the country is doing like some ads that vaccine is good, just talking something like that. But China have like a different perspective to attract it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So like in some part of China, the COVID 19 vaccine comes with a side of AIDS. It's part of the country's push to reach an ambiguous. target immunizing 40% of its population of 1.4 billion by June. Some Weibo users in Beijing have circulated a poster which says residents over the age of 60 who are vaccinated can get 2 cartons of free eggs for free. Also, in Beijing, the vaccinated can also rewarded with a buy one get one ice cream cone, and also one restaurant was offering free chicken wings and dumplings, while others were offering colorful certificates and even cash in exchange for getting the jab. It is really interesting, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like totally different from like what everyone's doing.
I would get the vaccine if I was in China. It is really different. Like in Israel, the government announced that those below 50 were able to get vaccinated and open the app of healthcare insurer, which is Credit, and book an appointment at a nearby clinic to receive the vaccine. It is almost the same like what we had in Malaysia. And meanwhile, in India, they have like the vaccination card, just to put up the doses that they need to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from my part. Back to you, Norman.
All right. So yeah. So like yeah. I mean like what you said just now was definitely true. You know like when we look into like most, I mean like most governments, even we were to look at so-called like some YouTube videos, like I think shout out to Aussie Man reviews who has been doing like crazy Australian videos. But yeah, even in some of his videos, they have actually like highlighted that most countries have been most leaders in particular has been trying to at least establish that notion, saying that taking vaccine is good for you. But like we can see like China has taken like the other side of the turn because like they have been giving out fried chicken and all this, and it's kind of like really weird. I mean like I'm not really sure whether it's effective, but it's definitely out of this world. We can see that, right, Reese?
Yeah.
Even in Malaysia, we have like a lot of advertisements that lindung diri, lindung semua. So it's a type of how to say of a message to tell people that it's not only just about protecting yourself. It's not only just about protecting yourself, but also protecting everyone else. So with this vaccine campaign all going on, I think most governments are doing the right thing, particularly trying to actually increase vaccination rollout by any means. Including calling out celebrities, and also like asking notable names, notable people to come out and tell like, oh, why vaccine is good. But China took the other way around, so it's kind of weird. So it's like I mean, we from the Global Amateurs podcast, we actually have how to say like kind of like opinion right now. Like whether like what we would actually like to hope for. In particularly. So it's like Reese, do you have anything you want to say about this? So-called this thing all going on. Like, what's your opinion and what's your hope for it?
Yeah, I just hope that everyone is getting vaccinated because it is really important for us to reduce the infection rate and break the infection ties by getting yourself vaccinated. So please don't believe in the false rumors, right? There's a chips in the vaccine. Please get the right information because yeah, it just for your health. And please don't be selfish. Yeah. What
Yeah,
about
it's
you?
yeah. Like for me, it's like I mean, like it's like definitely the same thing. Like I honestly have a grandma who is terrified of taking vaccines. There has been a lot of rumors saying that the AstraZeneca has been causing blood clot in a few European countries. European its contract of AstraZeneca. Countries such as few other countries in Asia, if I'm not mistaken, has also retracted its support for AstraZeneca. So there's been a lot of speculation in the community saying that all these vaccines are dangerous. It might kill you, especially for the elderly people who are out there. But like I mean, yeah, like it's hard to say this honestly. First things first, because that honestly this is a major breakthrough, right? Reese, like this vaccine production has been less than that is expected time. 1.5 years we already have a vaccine. That's wow. That's something amazing, and it's bound to have mistakes, mishaps to actually occur. And I also think that yeah, it's better for everyone to take the vaccine. Like don't have that kind of thought. That saying that the vaccine's bad. The vaccine might kill me. The vaccine might do something to me. And the allegations about Reese just now about a
Yeah.
chip. That's like definitely not true. Like um,
Don't believe in fake rumors.
yeah, I don't believe this is basic disinformation and all this. Just to trying to how's it to make the image of vaccination programs such as the COVAX look bad. So, for me in particular, I would just like to ask everyone, not ask, but enforce, kind of enforce everyone, or give a strong message out there to actually say that everyone should, take the vaccine and should be vaccinated, and doesn't matter what age group are you in, or it doesn't matter what so-called vaccination you're taking, particularly like Sinovac, Pfizer, or maybe AstraZeneca. Just take the vaccine and just stay safe from everyone. I mean, it's really unpredictable right now. Like we don't know how this COVID-19 pandemic will be ongoing, but I think a lot of people has already adapted to the new norms, right? The Reese new norms.
Yeah. New
Yeah,
norms.
the
Yeah.
new norms of it. So I think it's best that if everyone could follow that new norms, then I think that the COVID-19 pandemic will end soon when everyone's vaccinated and everyone's been following the rules. And yeah, so we won't have like what's happening right now in Malaysia, right? With all the movement control order being reenacted back after
Yeah.
several months, especially
Because
like
of cases is still increasing day by day.
yeah, it's like day by day increasing, and now there's a lot of uncertainty whether
Yep.
Eid Mubarak, I mean like Hari Raya or Eid Mubarak is going to be like the same. So yeah, so to prevent all this, just take a vaccine, stay safe from everyone. Yeah, and I think the COVID-19 pandemic should at least decrease. I mean, the cases should at least decrease, and it should end actually. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say that's all from me. Anything you want to add more, Reese, for our conclusion and opinion part?
All right. Thank you everyone for listening to our podcast. Please follow our Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify Global Amateurs, and see you guys next week.
All right. See you guys next week too. Bye bye, everyone, and take
Bye.
care. Bye
Take care.
bye.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, and hopefully Raya next week.